Last year, right here at the Thomas and Mack Center, the Boise State basketball team, beaten, battered, and injured, turned in a gritty and gutty effort, getting to the semifinals of the conference tournament, where the Broncos fell just short against New Mexico. This year's scenario entirely different for Boise State. Totally healthy and playing some of its best basketball of the season, the Broncos met up with the Wyoming Cowboys in the semifinals, the only squad that Boise State didn't beat in the regular season. You may remember the Broncos fell to them in Laramie and then rattled off their huge winning streak. Boise State didn't get off to too hot of a start. Larry Nance showing why Wyoming is as good as it is, getting up and throwing down on the Broncos. That tied the game at 2 apiece. But Boise State settled in from there, getting some contributions from the young fella, Chandler Hutchison, dialing up 3 in the corner. 14-7 Boise State at this point. Chandler had 7 points in the first half. But then Josh Adams brings the Cowboys back. The steal and the slam were tied at 14-all. But then Broncos went on a 3-point shooting barrage. Mikey Thompson hits one in the corner. Then Derek Marks spots up and drains it. 28-20, fellas in gray with the lead, and they weren't done. Nick Duncan, give me all 3 of these. 34-24, Boise State up by double digits. But in the final 2 minutes of the first half, they let that lead slip. Nance throws down and a trip to the stripe. Moments later, Adams on the 2-on-1 and won a 10-0 run to end the opening 20 minutes. Wyoming down just 38-36 at the break. In the second half, the boys pick up right where they left off. Nance dunks over higher, giving Wyoming its first lead of the night. Nance had 20 points in all. Then Adams hits a triple and lets that goose head hang. Boise State down 5, but they battle back. And in the final 10 seconds, James Webb III tips in a Derek Marks miss to tie the game at 57 apiece and force overtime. In the extra session, Marks, a clutch triple, ties the game at 60, but his efforts weren't enough tonight. Wyoming's Jason McManaman banks in a 3-point shot. The shot was off, not the guy you'd expect to be taking it in a clutch moment, but that was the dagger that the Broncos couldn't recover from. Boise State loses 71-66 in overtime. The Broncos' run in the Mountain West Conference tournament is over. So now, Boise State waiting on pins and needles. Will the Broncos get into the NCAA tournament? I think coming into the spot, you would assume yes, that's absolutely the case. No Mountain West regular season champion has ever been left out of the March Madness field, but if Wyoming goes on to win the tournament, especially if Colorado State wins tonight, it's going to be tough because the Mountain West is suddenly a 4-bid league. The Broncos are definitely on pins and needles right now, although Leon Rice in his post-game press conference implored the media saying, I don't see how you can leave us out. Our resume is bigger than this loss here tonight. We'll have to see on Selection Sunday. You'll hear much more from Leon tomorrow on Today's 6 and Fox 9.